Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM, you're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Talk Local to Me. I am Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
And I'm Mike Norfield with Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care.
I was wondering for a second if my mic was on. I sounded really low.
Yeah.
Really ramping you in on that.
Oh, is that what we were doing?
Yeah.
Trying to raise it.
Okay. At first I thought, I was like, wait a minute. Am I on?
Trying to get the ratings up or something he said before the show. I don't know.
Yeah. Trying to make me question my abilities over here.
That's right.
So anyway, so we are back this week. We've got a couple guests on the show with us today.
I'm excited.
And we're going to be talking about a little bit of everything. We're going to be talking about like some foster care. We're going to be talking about travel. I think we're going to talk a little bit about sweepstakes, which
I'm sorry, what?
Like our second guest, she helps you learn how to win sweepstakes. She's won like hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash and prizes.
Okay.
So I need to learn more about that.
Yeah.
She's also going to be one of our speakers for Empower. So we're going to chat about that.
That's cool.
Real quick shout out. Thank you to everyone who attended our CVABC Open Putt-Putt tournament last night.
It was great.
It was wonderful.
Did you just play the one round?
No, I went back and played again.
Okay. What was your score?
On the other course, I parred completely.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What'd you beat me by?
So
I can't
of
talk
the second course, you got a 37, I think.
Yet. I was one.
I got a 36.
Yeah, you beat me by one.
And what did you get on the second one?
It was I parred the whole thing. So 36.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did not as good on that one. No,
Okay.
44.
Oh, well then I win. So no, I'm just playing. But yeah, no, it was a really good time. We had, I think, more participants this year than we had last year, which is kind of, that's my goal.
But it also
to
wasn't
get
like super
more
crowded.
people each year.
Because we went at like 5:15 because my son started a new job. Hooray. But we didn't, so we couldn't start until like 5:15. I'm like, everybody's going to be getting off work. It's going to be super crowded.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. It was nice and spread out. And of course, everybody was super nice.
Mm-hmm.
There were no fist fights that broke out yesterday. That was a success.
Yeah. Nope. No fist fights. Was the crowd from Perimeter there when you left?
They were right behind us.
Okay.
I'm glad they were behind us.
Yeah, because we had the crowd from Perimeter, then we had a big crowd from Pool Fullin show up.
Right.
Southern Charm Painting brought a big group.
Okay.
So yeah, we had a lot of people, and it was really great. And so a big shout out to everyone who helped us, our whole sponsors and our dinner sponsor, Connect Networking. They helped with that.
Very nice.
So it was a really good time. We do have our Empower seminar coming up, but we're going to chat a little bit about that in the second half when we have Rachel with us. So we're going to just jump into our first guest, unless you got anything else you want to throw in.
Let's jump right in.
Let's jump right in. All right, great. So we are joined here in the studio today with Skylar and Heather, and they're with the Bair Foundation. So welcome.
Hi. We're so glad to be here today.
I am glad to have you here. So I know May is Foster Care Awareness Month. Am I correct on that? Okay, great. Which was one of the reasons we wanted to get you guys on a little bit prior to, May starts tomorrow. So, we're
right. We're right there.
Jumping right in there. But, just to kind of start us out, tell us a little bit about yourselves and like, what is the Bair Foundation?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Skylar Cardenas. I am a foster parent recruiter here at Bair. So I push kids into homes, and I certify families to become foster parents. We are a therapeutic foster care agency. So with that, there's a few extra classes and training, and we do a lot of that. And then Heather, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Heather Schrader. I am the state director for Virginia. So what I do is I supervise all the programs, the directors, the staff, and provide that support for just our staff and families and kids across the state of Virginia.
Okay, awesome. So what is the Bair Foundation? Like, what is your mission?
So we are a therapeutic foster care agency. With foster care, there's 3 different tiers. It's foster care, therapeutic foster care, and then enhanced treatment foster care.
Okay.
We do therapeutic and enhanced treatment. And what that means is these kids need a little extra attention and support.
Okay.
So that's what the extra training is for our foster parents that go through.
Okay, because I have heard of, foster care, and then I hear people talk about therapeutic foster care, and I never was quite sure what is the difference between just foster care and therapeutic.
Yeah, so these kids usually have a little extra, like whether that's behavioral problems, emotional health issues, or they just need just that little extra support. Sometimes it's just that they're older and they can't find homes in foster care, or that it's sibling groups. And with that also comes the need for extra support. So that's why they have either suppressed or gone through foster care and not had a stable placement. So then they come to us looking for that stable placement.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah.
sense.
So what makes the Bair Foundation unique from other therapeutic foster?
We are a Christian foster care organization, so that's really our push to host these kids and support these homes. We really put that the love of Christ is our.
Yeah.
There's a mission behind your mission.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's
absolutely.
behind
That's-
our mission. Yeah, and we really want our staff to provide excellent care and support for our families, because these kids that come in, like Skylar said, just have really high needs, and they need that extra love and care. And we want families who they feel called to do this. They really, really want to do this. But we take any families from all backgrounds, all faith backgrounds. We just want families who can provide safe, loving homes.
Yeah.
But we are a faith-based organization.
Okay. So I know that there's always a need. So our office used to be next to a foster care
Okay.
company.
Yeah.
I don't know a better word for it. And so I talked to them some. And so I know that there's a high need for foster parents. So how many kids are referred to you guys, and where do these kids come from? Like,
Yeah, there's quite a few. Some weeks we have upwards of 30, 40 kids
wow.
who are just referred to us.
Wow.
And they do come from all over. We've had kids from Staunton come to our office. In that case, it was a sibling group, and we had a home who could take all of them, so they made that 2 or 3 hour trek.
So you guys cover a fairly large area then.
Yes. We also have offices in Richmond and Virginia Beach. So all the referrals that come to our office come to an email that reaches all 3 of those offices, so that when we do get a referral, we can also work with our other offices to see if they have have a home as well.
Okay.
So many years ago, I'm not going to say how many because,
Because you're old.
I'm old, but many years ago, I actually used to work for the Bedford County Department of Youth and Family Services. And so I used to have to sit on like the FAP team and like the CPMT and all of those cases. And you would hear about, the foster, we had so many foster kids coming in just through Bedford County. And it was, it could be a smorgasbord of reasons,
Right.
between whether it's like the family couldn't care for them, maybe their parents had passed away, maybe there was just, again, something behavioral that the parents needed help with, or services, wraparound services and things like that. But, and you heard a lot about the therapeutic, so I heard a lot about the Bair Foundation even back
Oh, awesome.
then, because y'all were one of the groups that we would partner with and have come in. And, you guys do a lot of good work, because I don't think people really do realize how many foster kids there are in the system
In
right
our
now.
neighborhood.
Yeah. So when you're sitting here saying, like, I was expecting you to say, oh, like 2 or 3 come in a
Right.
week. When you're thinking 30 to 40, that's huge. When you look at, that's like 2.5 classrooms of kids at a local school that
Yeah.
have nowhere to go, and like they need help, need that support. So that's big.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize, like you said, how often we get referrals. We get so many, like Skylar was saying. And I mean, our recruiters are constantly checking email every day, because you cannot have any or just checked, and then we'll get more and more in throughout the day. So we're always checking. We also have our on-call after hours. So if there's an emergency referral, they can look and see if we have a home after hours, because, kids don't just come in during office hours, but can come in
Right.
on the weekends, holidays, evenings. So we're able to place those emergency placements with our families as well.
And so those emergency placements, do they come from like DSS and things like that, or?
Yes. So our referrals come from DSS. DSS does the traditional foster care. If they don't have a home that's appropriate for the child, or let's say their homes are all full, they will call our agency, and then they'll give us as much information as they can on the child, so we can do as best of a fit with the child and the family as possible, because we want it to be successful. And so then we call our families that have open beds and that we feel is a good fit, and we'll see if we can place them in that home. And we'll let DSS know either way, so that way they can continue to look for a home if we don't have one.
I got you.
What are some of like the needs that these kids have that you have to kind of look out when you're talking about going into specific homes, or kind of see where you have a fit for? What are some of the things you guys look at?
A lot of times, it's developmental needs. So we get a lot of kids on the autism spectrum. Other things are behavioral. So, if due to the trauma that they've been through, a lot of times they'll act out based on that. And sometimes it's
Yeah, that's
age.
age. It can be a lot of different things. So
Yeah.
we get kids with different mental health needs,
Mm-hmm.
different diagnoses. They come into care and they have a lot more appointments than maybe a child who's not in foster care or traditional would have. So they need someone who can take them to their appointments, counseling appointments, medication management. They also have higher behavioral mental health needs, so they really need somebody who can work with them. And we also provide trauma-based interventions and training, because we really believe that it's not just the behavior but what's behind the behavior,
Mm-hmm.
and how can we see what's going on behind that from trauma that the child's experienced, whether it's abuse, neglect, or maybe they had a death in the family. So our families, that's why Skylar earlier was talking about the training that they go through is very trauma based. And we make sure that our families are prepared and our staff are prepared to handle those types of situations. So we get kids with a lot of different needs. Some of our kids even have medical needs. We'll sometimes get babies that have come into care, or they're still in the hospital and they were exposed in utero to drugs or alcohol. And then we get older kids too who have medical issues and medical needs, where we need families who are willing to work with them and provide that care.
Yeah, and so how do you come alongside and support people who have foster kids that they've taken in that need that extra support?
Okay. So on the front end, and also just throughout the time that they're certified, we do a lot of training with them. They also have a case manager with them. And so the case manager, after they're placed, they're along with the child and the family throughout the whole time that they're with us. And in Virginia, there's different levels depending on the need for the child. So that depends on how often the case manager is going into the home, doing visits. But they're providing that support for the family. They're helping them set up services. When there's situations that are crisis situations or they need help, they're available by phone or coming out to the home. And then that's also why we have our 24-hour on call. So that way, if it's after hours, we have rotating on call in each of our offices. And we also have on call supervisors that they will call and work with the family. And if they need to go out or need to go to the hospital with the family, they provide that extra support to be able to help the families work with dealing with a situation that's in crisis, to help de-escalate it, and give the family feedback and those kinds of things about what's going on with the child and how to handle those situations.
Okay.
Do you also do like coaching or training with foster parents on how to, I don't want to say not get too attached, or like that kind of a detachment sort of aspect, because I think most of the foster kid, most kids that come into foster care, their end goal is home, if at all possible. It's to go back home and not, stay in foster care. But I think I've always wanted to be a foster parent, always have. But I would get so attached. Like I know I would. It would be hard. Do y'all do anything to kind of help with that?
Yes. So we, in our trainings initially, we talk about that and how the goal is to when they come into care is almost always return home.
Mm-hmm.
We talk to our families about building that relationship, depending on what's allowed with DSS, what they allow since they're still the legal guardian, what that looks like, whether it's supporting visits, supporting phone contacts, things like that. Not saying that makes it easy, but we want them on the front end to understand this is foster care.
Right.
We're not an adoption agency. That doesn't mean that kids don't get adopted, but our goal is for them to return home or some type of kinship with another relative, or maybe there's someone in the family's life that they really trust and have close relationship with that's not related. They may go to that person as well. But we really try to let our parents know this is the goal, and we want the foster parents to work with us in encouraging that, as long as it's like a healthy, safe for them to return home.
Right.
That relationship for the child and the parents, or whatever their biological family or friends they have, because it's really important for the child to have those connections.
Yeah. So how often do children get adopted? What's the...
I don't know
you said
if
it
I
happens
have the
occasionally.
It does, yes. So, I mean,
I think last year we had like 4
in the Lynchburg office. So it depends on what office and how many kids come in with parental rights are already terminated or not.
Right.
We actually do have a child right now who's close to their starting the adoption process, and it looks like he's going to get adopted pretty quick. So I don't know the exact statistics, but like Skylar said, last year in Lynchburg we had about 4 of the kids get adopted. So we do have those kids that.
So it'd be fair to say that it's rare, but it happens.
Yeah.
Because if you've got 30 calls a week and 4 get adopted, it's
rare, but
more rare, but it does happen.
Yes.
Yeah. How long does that the adoption process kind of take? Just,
Well, a child has to be in the home for 6 months before they can even start the adoption process.
Okay.
Once parental rights are terminated, then it just really depends on the DSS locality and how quickly they move through the process. So the minimum would be the 6 months where the child's in the home.
Right.
And then usually I would say on average, it's usually about anywhere from 3 to 6 months after that point.
Right.
So a total of maybe 9 months to a year, I would say, is probably the average after they've been in the foster home.
Okay.
Sometimes quicker.
Yeah. I know there's quite a few foster parents in this area that I remember they would, you just see they have so many kids that have come in and out. She'd be like, oh, I'm just a grandma to all these like kids. And she just loved it though. Like she did. And it was just kind of her calling was, to just give the kids somewhere safe to be for whatever time period she was allowed to, give them that safe space, which I think is I think that's so great that there are people in this world that can open their homes up like that and have the resources and the ability to do it and just say, I'd rather them be here than, where, either where they're at or, just on the streets, like some kids that just go and, I don't know. But I just think that's just very special that there are people out there that are willing to do it.
So Visiting Angels, the company that I owned, we do in-home care with mostly seniors, right? Okay. And so we have one client that her and her husband, before he passed away, they fostered over 40 kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, they did it for like 25 years. And she was like, we had kids, like the most we ever had was like, they had like 6 at one time and they were all brother and sister and things like that. She was like, it was just great to be able to do that. And, they had their own kids, but they also had all these foster kids. So.
Well, our friend, Martha that we grew up with, she went to high school with us.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know a Martha.
Okay. Well, I don't want to just like blast her name.
No, I don't want to blast her name.
Anyway, but
she have a long name?
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, but yeah, she had she has a couple of her own kids. I think she had like 4 or 5. But then they had a family member, a friend of theirs that passed away, and they adopted 8 of her kids, 7 or 8 of their kids. So she's got like 13, gorgeous family. Like you gotta check her out. Like gorgeous family and what they do. So I mean, it's just people like that. I'm just like, bless you. Like that's just awesome.
They're number 1 in the baseball
to
league,
see what she's doing. Yeah, she had a whole team.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the kind of stuff that just warms your heart.
Cool. I didn't know that about her.
Yeah, you have to check it out. She's got like some of them are over 18 now, so they're kind of slightly leaving the nest. But yeah. It was really I remember when it happened. It was really cool.
Yeah.
So I know we already kind of talked about like what outcomes do you see children in your care doing getting, but what can parents expect as a foster parent, and if they want to become a foster parent, like how does that work? What do they start? How do they start that process?
It all starts with an inquiry. You can go to our website and just enter your information, last name, first name, and a way to contact you. I will be the one contacting you and giving you more information about the certification process. That certification process includes a home study. So I'll be visiting your home and writing a quite lengthy document about you and about your family and your home and what you have to offer. And that will be used to also make quality placements over just quantity. So the thing we do is look at the home and look at the child so that we can make those quality placements. Yeah. So we're not doing as many moves.
Okay. And what's the website that they would go to?
Bair.org.
And that's BAIR.
Yes, sir.
.org. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How long does that normally, how long does that process take from start to finish most times before you become, able to accept your first, foster child?
It's usually about 45 to 90 days.
Okay, that's not that's not as long as I was expecting.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing. Like we had a family start in like I think February or January. By the end of March or by the end of February they were certified. So in that case it only took a month, but it's a lot of hustling because there's also those trainings that we have to get done.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Yeah, like what kind of trainings do they have to go through? And
so our first training is actually orientation, which is a informational session, us just telling you about Bair, about us, and about what to expect from a foster parent. So with that is we're going to talk about the certification process, that home study, the documents that come with it, as well as expectations. So of course we expect you to be a part of a team. We're a family here at Bair, and we want you to feel that both ways. And we also expect you to take care of the child just as you would your own children. So taking kids to those visitations like Heather was talking about earlier, taking them to appointments, again, treating them like they were your own child.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what kind of requirements are there to be a foster parent? I assume there's background checks, things like that.
Yeah. So we do at least 2 background checks. If you've lived outside of the state of Virginia within the last 5 years, we'll do another. But it's passing those background checks.
Yeah, we also have physicals done and TBs just to make sure that the parent is, or if there's 2 parents, they both get that done to make sure that they can care for the child. That's not going to affect them negatively or the child. So we do that. We have the trainings and all of that we do.
Okay. So you said TB, you mean like tuberculosis?
Yes,
yeah,
tuberculosis.
It's common in healthcare too.
Yeah. So we do that. The trainings that we do, like she said, there's the home study process. You go through and ask questions. We get references from work and personal references also to make sure that you have good references, because we want to make sure that it's a safe home for the child. We also check income to make sure that you can support your own household without any money that comes from the foster child, because we want people who aren't doing this for
the paycheck.
Right. They really want to do this.
Right.
So there's a lot that goes into it to make sure that they're qualified, but also that they really want to do this for the right reasons.
Right. We don't want an Oliver Twist situation, right?
No,
yeah.
we don't.
And I know there are people out there that are foster parents that of course have their own family and their own kids. Is that kind of something y'all look at though, especially when placement happens, if you need to have someone that is not going to do well with others, like other children in the home or without? So, but what I'm getting at is don't let that stop you from applying to be a foster parent if you have children, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And a lot of times we'll talk to DSS about that. If the child does come in the care, they can already tell us usually if the child would do well in a home with other kids or if they would do better in an only child home.
Okay.
And I assume that people would have to have like enough space, like an extra bed, like their own bedroom for them, that sort of thing. So that's something to consider as well. Like if you've got, you don't have any extra room in your house and things like that, you want to make sure that you've got space for them as well. So they have their own space and feel like they're not an inconvenience and that they're part of the family kind of thing, right?
Foster children can actually share bedrooms.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. They can share bedrooms with other children. But we do take into account if there any history of if the child has aggression or there's something that's going on, we want it to be safe. So there's different things with standards that we have to follow, like the same gender, depending on the age, they have to be in the room if they're sharing a room. If there's bunk beds, a child has to be over 7 years old to be able to be on the top bunk, things like that. So we take all that into account, but they can share a room with other children as long as there's a bed for them and there's enough space to accommodate all the children. We don't want to put a bunch of children in a small room that they don't have, room for everyone.
Yeah.
And if people have pets, is that okay? Like dogs and cats and things like that?
Some of our kids really prefer there to be pets in the home.
Right.
So again,
I get that.
talk to DSS like that about that.
Okay.
That's cool. So aside from foster parents and things like that, what are some other ways that individuals can support the Bair Foundation? If they're just like, I'm not available to be a foster parent at this time, but I would like to help. What are ways people can get involved?
Yeah, so people can get involved by donations. Since we're a nonprofit, we can take donations for the children or for the families. Also, we have natural supports that the parents can use. So sometimes they'll use other family members or friends, but also if there's somebody who wants to get involved, we could have them transporting kids or providing just time for them to be away from the family to give them a little bit of a break kind of thing. So different things like that can definitely be very helpful and supportive. also, if people were interested and wanted to donate kind of any food items for when we have families who are going through a difficult time, or if they have a placement, that would be something else as well. So any of those are definitely would be beneficial for our families, kids.
So you just said something that made me think about one other quick question I have for you. Do you guys do like respite? Like if there's a respite care family that, like you were just saying, that maybe the foster family needs just a day or two break, or they're going on like a wedding anniversary and just need someone, y'all do have that as well? Like someone who just offers that respite? Okay.
We actually have some homes that just do respite.
Okay.
So they may not have the ability to have a full-time foster care, but they do have those respite times.
Okay. That's what I was wondering.
It goes through the same process as a foster parent who gets a placement. It's the same, but they could say, I want to be here to support the families and help. And so they may just take, like she said, the respite placements where a week or a weekend or a couple of days and just be able to help support the families that need a break. Or if the child needs a little bit of a break, because we have that.
Or I'm sure you use them too for like kind of emergency placement. Like, hey, we need somebody just for like, child comes in on a Friday afternoon and it's like, oh, we need somebody for them to be able to stay with this weekend, like that kind of thing.
We have done that before where maybe the family's out of town and they're not going to get back until Monday, but the child needs a placement right away.
Right.
So we could place a child in that respite home for that weekend and then place them with the foster family. Now, we do try to limit that as much as possible just because we want as least moves as possible, because we don't want to.
Because moves can be traumatic.
Trauma to the child. Right. But in the case where if the child has nowhere else to go, then we would want them to do that instead of having to stay at DSS or somewhere with the DSS worker to be in a home with a family.
Right.
Okay. Sounds good.
So if somebody's interested in being a foster parent or donating or just supporting in some way, what's the best way for them to reach you guys?
Probably our website, bair.org. You can go there for more information as well as look for other offices in other states. We have offices in Pennsylvania, Texas, Ohio, North Carolina, Virginia.
We have a lot of different offices in different states.
And you have an office in Lynchburg?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
And are you guys allowed to give that out? Because I know where it is, or because I'm just kind of curious, what part of town is it in?
Oh, yeah. It's actually a Forest address over behind Food City. I'm sorry, not Food City. Food Lion.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I know Food City from where I'm from.
I gotcha.
I was thinking Food City.
And I was like,
I was trying to think of the name of the place on Memorial, because I was like, well, that's not Forest.
Yeah, that's FNL Market.
I know.
Food Lion.
It's Food Lion.
It's Food Lion.
Behind Food Lion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So like at that little shopping mall, little shop, with Inhabit, Home Health and all that.
Yeah.
I think,
we're neighbors with them.
Okay. Yeah. Very familiar with them. So anyway.
Okay.
But
So awesome. So there's two questions I ask every podcast guest.
Yes.
They're very hard questions. One is, how long have you been part of the CVABC?
We've been part of this for a few months now.
Like right after Christmas time, right? Or right before Christmas. It was right before Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what do you think is the greatest benefit of being part of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
I've only been to a few of the outreach things that you guys host, but I've really enjoyed getting to know other businesses and organizations in our community, as well as I'm not only listening for myself, but for our foster parents.
Right.
If there's maybe they're remodeling their house, I've found businesses locally that I can refer them to, and I just think that's really cool to connect people.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome.
Very cool.
Well, thank y'all for joining us today. I know, going into, Foster Care Awareness Month, it's important for you guys to be able to come out and talk and get that information out to those people that are potentially, I feel like there's always people that are maybe sitting on the fence going, I want to do it. I don't want to do it. I want to do it. I don't know, how to do it, and all those things. So I think being able to push that information out is so important.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys for joining us and being, able to do that today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thank you for letting us come on and share about Bair.
Absolutely.
Definitely. It was great to learn today.
We are going to cut to a couple of quick commercials and we will be right back.
Thinking about upgrading your home? Hello, I'm Philip Pantana. Whether you want a modern kitchen, a stunning bathroom, a sturdy deck, or even a brand new addition, Our company, Perimeter Remodeling and Restoration, can make it happen. From quick interior repairs to full-scale renovations, homeowners trust us for expert craftsmanship and excellent service, always delivered with the care you deserve. Schedule your free consultation now at perimeterva.com. Call or text 434-515-2868.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Omega Disaster Restoration, located in Campbell County, Virginia. Omega specializes in water, fire, and smoke damage restoration, as well as mold remediation. Their region includes Central and Southwest Virginia, which spans a vast service area from Blacksburg to Charlottesville and Stanton to Danville.
In addition to disaster restoration and full-service reconstruction and remodeling, Omega is proud to offer custom all-wood cabinets through their Hanover Woodworking Studio, custom countertops via their Top Solution Studio, and dumpster services through Old Dominion Dumpsters, all part of the Omega family of brands. A beautiful showroom is currently under construction at their Exchange Drive location and will be soon open to the public, showcasing their diverse offerings.
Customers can call 434-616-4659 for emergency assistance with water, fire, smoke damage, or mold remediation needs. Omega provides 24/7 emergency response, ensuring that help is always available. Locally owned and not a franchise, Omega is your first and last call in any emergency, restoring your home or business from beginning to end. For more information about Omega Disaster Restoration and their comprehensive services, please visit omegadisasterrestoration.com/VA/Lynchburg.
One thing protects it all, your roof. And when you've got a new one, you're set for decades. I'm Andrew Lee. Our company, Perimeter Roofing and Exteriors, is trusted by homeowners and businesses for all roofing and exterior projects. Shingles, metal, slate, gutters, windows, siding, decks, and more. Perimeter Roofing and Exteriors is your go-to for all protection and efficiency. Get your free no-hassle inspection today. Call or text 434-515-2868. Perimeter Roofing and Exteriors, protecting from the top down.
Welcome back, everybody. Heather was just off looking for the snacks that got left behind last week.
I know. I need some more snacks. I am
they got
hungry.
cleaned out as soon as y'all left.
So let me tell you, Friday night. So I've never met Jess from the Happy Waffle and her husband, Alex. I'm very proud of myself that I remembered both names.
I am very proud.
And because I'm terrible with names. Isn't that right? Woodrow?
Woodrow.
But Love Heals had a event for the awareness garden Friday night.
Yeah.
Friday night? Saturday night.
Saturday night.
And they put me on stage and gave me a microphone. Big mistake. So I had a lot of fun. I got to do the raffle, things like that. Anyway, but met people from the Happy Waffle, and they were fantastic. I thank them for all the food that they gave us, because they gave us so many waffles and how great that sandwich was, all that sort of thing. And they were so thrilled. And so Sheena wanted to try one of their waffles. And so we got the Biscoff and cream cheese one.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I don't really like cream cheese. Can you just like put it on the side so that she can put it on her half? And like, they made me one without and made her one with, and they were like, no charge, you're good.
They're fabulous.
They are fantastic. They are such nice people.
They are.
I love it when you get a business with a good product and then you meet the people who run the business and it's like they're nice as can be. Like, fantastic. Cannot say enough good things about the Happy Waffle, especially because waffles are my jam. So.
Yes, I love. You should actually talk to her about like something like a co-thing with Waffle Wednesday.
So they do Centra Days. Maybe next time we do business after hours, we'll just set their truck up.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That would be good.
I haven't been yet.
Oh, you need to go. It's delicious.
They have a turkey sandwich with like strawberry jam on it that they put
in a panini press.
And well, it's like they do it like a panini,
it's a waffle.
It's like in a waffle maker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you've ever watched Parks and Rec, I am the Leslie Knope of Lynchburg. I would eat waffles every day if I could. I walk into Waffle House, they just start making my food. Like, no joke. So I was there yesterday. And so they, but they are super nice and it's really good. You should definitely go try the sandwich.
I get that sandwich probably once a week. It's like my favorite.
Yeah.
And then, they opened up down
Not
from
once has she shown up at my office with an extra sandwich and said, hey, I thought of you today.
I should.
Co-host of the podcast.
I'm going to have to do that. Well, now I can't do it because you just told me to do it. Now I got to do something else.
Daggone it.
But anyway, so, we are now joined in the studio with Rachel Travis. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. It is a beautiful day. And I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
It is a gorgeous day outside. It has been really pretty the last couple of days. Like, I have not wanted to work. Well, I mean, I don't know. Part of me does want to work because I've been taking care of my parents for like weeks now, and I'm just ready to like pull my hair out. But outside has just been so gorgeous. Like it's what spring should be. And I just love it. And
you need to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy it now.
Yeah. Because it'll be 100 degrees next week and we'll be sweating to death.
Yeah.
So Rachel, we're going to kind of chat about a couple of different things. But Rachel, travel with Rachel. So you do travel. And I guess we'll kind of touch on that first off and foremost. I love your shirt because you've got, is that Paris?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
always a good idea.
So I've never been to Paris. It is my bucket list. I want to go to Paris. I took 5 years of French and I've never been to Paris. So
Wow.
I like tortured myself for 5 years and took French.
Woody, can we do a remote podcast next week?
We sure can.
We just go to Paris.
Let's go to Paris.
Let's go.
We can go to Paris Disney.
That would be fabulous.
I mean,
Let's do it.
So
Paris and Disney, you can't go wrong. Anyway.
yeah. So I want to go to Paris and then I want to go to like Italy, Greece. That's like my two.
Let's do it.
That's what I want to do. Yeah. I'm down. I need to get information. So how long have you been doing the travel? I know that you go to quite a few places. You were just gone a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yes, I just did a 2-week trip in Europe. I had meetings for work in Spain where I was meeting with vendors and hoteliers from all over the world. And after that, I hopped over to Hungary to go on a river cruise. Let me tell you, I never thought that I would like river cruises.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like it was for a certain older crowd. So I had never... But I needed something to do. I'm like, I'm not going to waste a trip over to Europe for 3 days, right? So I added on to it and I went on the Alma waterways on the Danube. It was absolutely incredible.
Okay.
A river cruise. You hop on and everything's taken care of course, but then you just go down the river and each stop, they take care of everything. You go for your tour and then get back on. And at night you cruise down the river to the next stop. It was amazing. The food was farm to table.
Awesome.
Wow.
On the boat, yeah.
See, when I think river cruise, I was just thinking you just got on a boat and you just were cruising down a river for I didn't know you had all the stops and the things like that. And I was thinking, I'm kind of like you. I was thinking, well, that would be kind of
You were
boring.
thinking of like the Virginia Dare.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe that's what I'm kind of thinking.
No, not a dinner cruise. This was a full out 7-day.
Okay.
7-day cruise. We started in Hungary and then we went to Slovakia, which was never on my list,
Right.
to be honest. But
If I can't spell it, I usually don't want to go there.
right, so much history, especially right now. And then Austria and Germany. So you got to, we got to hit quite a few countries and you can add on at the beginning and end. Average age was 65, but let me tell you, I made the best friends on this cruise. It was amazing.
So is that like the Viking cruises, like that kind of
vibe? It'd be very similar to that.
Okay. So very cool. Yeah, because I've seen those and it's like, that looks really cool because it's like you're not on a cruise ship like in the ocean. It's a smaller boat, but it's like
there were only 150 travelers and they had 80 staff. So just the customer service is fantastic. I just got a postcard in the mail today from them saying, thank you for joining us, handwritten.
Oh, see, look at their culture.
I like it.
Amazing.
That is awesome.
That's great.
So, so how long have you been working in the travel industry? Yeah.
Yes, I was in the travel industry since 2018. And it's kind of funny how I got into it because I have a hobby where I like to enter sweepstakes to win things.
Mm-hmm.
And I had won, over the years, I've won over 75 trips. It's absolutely.
See, I told you. I was just talking
insane.
about that before you came out. And I was like, I need to find out how she does this. Like, this would be so cool.
Oh, I'll tell you about that in a little bit. So I had won all these trips and someone that I knew from college had followed along and said, I'm working for this travel agency. The owners want to meet with you. They want to hire you.
Oh.
And it was never an idea to be a travel agent. I honestly didn't even know it was a thing to be a travel agent with so much easy access to the internet. And they offered me to start working with them. I said yes, and I haven't looked back. Now, obviously, COVID did some things to the industry, completely shattered the industry. But now people are traveling more than ever, and they don't want to do it themselves. And that's where I come in because people are busier now than ever.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many options. And so where I come in is people say, hey, I want to go somewhere and I take care of things from A to Z. So I've been doing it since 2018 and I love it.
And let me just say how important it is to utilize a travel agent. Because I mean, I know a lot of you guys have heard, I don't talk about it much, but like I do Disney strictly. I'm with Minis and I do like the Disney stuff. And I've had a lot of business, like I've had somebody message me and say, hey, can I get a quote for a Disney trip? And I'll give them a quote and they'll be like, oh, well, I can get that same quote online. Sure you can. Absolutely. Go do it yourself. But you don't get what Rachel can provide for you or what I can provide for you in the quality of being able to help you if there's any snags or issues, or just being able to be there ahead of time to say, like, here's what I would suggest you do, or here's what you should do. And if I were to go, like I said, on a trip outside of my little Disney bubble, Rachel would be,
right.
Who I would want to contact and say, like, hey, I know it's hard. I don't want to go at it alone. Like, how can you help me do this?
And I have done trips, planned it. So we did a family trip to Disney for 14 of us. So fun fact, you can't put but like 7 people in one group. So like my sister and I were literally up at like 6 a.m. booking dinner reservations and entertainment and fast pass, all those things. So we did that for that. And then I did it and it was just Shane and I. So granted, it was easier, but still it was so nice to know, like when we went, I didn't know what we were doing, what day, like we had an itinerary, but I didn't have to like micromanage everything all the way through. It was so much more enjoyable and so much less stressful. The fact that I didn't have 12 family members with me probably helped, but it was such an easier process that I will never do a big trip like that without using someone to help me do it. Because like you doing it every day, like when you're booking a trip like the river cruise, like I would just Google river cruise in Europe and then just kind of like start digging from there. And Google is tricky. Like you get all sorts of things that are not quality, I'll say. Yeah. So being able to work with somebody, especially somebody who's local, would make a huge difference.
Yes. And what's funny is I don't do Disney.
Right.
I prefer to send all my Disney. This is one thing I do not touch. And that's what I learned, this phrase I learned, I have an ecosystem of trusted advisors. So
there you go.
Call
me. I like that.
If you call me and I don't feel confident in giving the best service for your specific destination, I have people that I would trust to pass you off to.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, I just think there's so many things to, like, if I were, let's just say, if I were to call you and say, oh, I want to go to Paris. I'm like, Mike, I could Google things, but I could be like, here's the places I really want to hit. Like, I want to go here, here, and here, or I want to do this kind of wine tasting, or I want to do this. And you already know where those best places are, instead of you going out, because you hear of some people that go and they don't know what they're doing. And I'm not saying they get necessarily scammed, but they can. Right. And you're going into territory that you don't know. It's so much better. And the peace of mind, I think that's the big part of it. Yeah. Like the peace of mind to know that you've dealt with someone who knows what they're doing.
And who's going to guide you of where to go and where not to go. And
exactly
things like that.
And let's be honest, in travel, things go wrong.
Right.
A lot. For instance, I had a local couple wanted to go on a trip to an all-inclusive. I did everything. And then on the way back, the flights were getting canceled and they were having to delay a day. And he really had something he had to be back in town for. They ended up staying an extra night. I booked the hotel. They walked across the street. It was booked for them. In the midst of this happening, I'm like, okay, I've got your hotel booked. You just walk across the street. I'm fixing your flights for you. I had them rebooked on the last 2 spots for Saturday, or else I would have had to wait till Wednesday.
Yeah. Because
I have direct access to availability in flights. And then on their way back, their flight got delayed over 8 hours. Well, then this is crazy. Their plane got rerouted midair from, instead of going to Raleigh, to Miami, because Raleigh customs closed. So they said, well, you have to come into the U.S. somewhere else. You can't enter in Raleigh. We're staying up. So while they're in Miami, I said, I'm getting a car rental for you in Raleigh. Like, you just don't even worry about it. They had to be back in Lynchburg. So I took care of all of that while they were on the plane, while they were going through customs. I called American.
That's not even something I would think of, like, because we've had flights and we get to the airport and then it gets canceled and then we had to like drive to Charlottesville. I won't tell you how fast we went, but it was too much. And things like that. But like trying to manage all that and get your luggage back and get on the road, like.
And they're tired. They'd been in the airport for like 12 hours at that point. So I just said, and then obviously it did cost extra money, right? Even with travel insurance, like travel, there's always a risk that you're going to have extra costs. Like we can't avoid that. But they didn't have to worry about last minute getting into the airport in Raleigh at midnight, trying to find a hotel. I had it all taken care of for them, because that's stressful and you're tired and then you're irritable and nobody's having fun at that point. So that's where we add a layer of protection. And then as far as booking worldwide, I can't know every single hotel, but I do have trusted partners around the world that I work with. That I went to Spain. I was meeting with people that they're going to know my name. So send you there. I'm going to say, Jesus, I am sending you a client. I'm going to take really good care of them. Now, does that always mean upgrades and amazing things? No, but if you have a problem, I'm going to text Jesus and say, a problem, can you please fix this? And it's done faster. So it's about that extra layer of customer service and you have somebody on your side while you're traveling. That's in the US that speaks English. I'm going to answer your call. I have people say, well, what if I can find it cheaper at Costco? Now, honestly, my clientele, I don't have a ton of people that are price matching with Costco because of where we are. I don't even think we have a Costco around here, but Costco, Expedia, they're not going to answer your phone call.
Right.
My clients get my cell phone. And we take care of things.
And cost isn't always the number one thing you want to consider. If I'm going to get a steak, like you can buy a steak at the dollar store. I don't want to eat that steak. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like there's something to be said about paying the proper price for the rent, right? So if I'm going on vacation, I don't get to get away very often. If I'm going on vacation, cost isn't as much a factor as I make sure that everything goes smoothly and I have quality places to stay and a good time. Mm-hmm. And I want it to be stress-free. So like using a travel agent makes total sense for that instead of just trying like, oh, let's just hope we get something good. So
let's just hope. Let's not do that. And plus, you've worked too hard to earn the money that you're spending to not respect that.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. I like that.
So with your travels, where's one of your like favorite places, like of all the places you've been? Like, what would you recommend?
I truly think that it matters more who you're traveling with.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. Because I've been to many amazing places, but a lot of my memories are attached to experiences with people. So that's one thing. But my favorite travel right now coming up and fresh in my memory would be with a road trip in Ireland with my mom.
Oh,
she had never traveled internationally.
Oh.
And I said, I'm taking you somewhere for your birthday. Just get your passport. And we did a road trip around Ireland, and we both cried at some points because it's just so beautiful. And then experiencing that.
Having those memories together are priceless.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So I think really, if you can travel, even if it's in the States, go. Right. Just take the time with your family now, because life is short. And that's where I recommend it's not just about going to exotic places. It's about who you're with and making those memories.
I love that answer.
I hope my wife's not listening because she's going to call me out on this, but I love like the spontaneous trips. I really hate them, but I'd like to surprise my wife and catch her off guard. And she's like, you did this like so spontaneous. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because a couple of years ago, I think it was in January, and I walked into the house one day and I was like, you're off for your birthday, right? Like the Friday and Monday. She was like, yeah. I'm like, you want to go to Nashville? Mm-hmm. She's like, what? I'm like, I just booked the tickets for like $25 because I had airline miles, things like that. So, so we went and did a trip to Nashville. And so not that far away, but a completely different world than Lynchburg. Right. Mm-hmm. And so we got to go to Nashville, and we still talk about that trip like it was yesterday, and it was like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I forget that it was 2 years ago. So
we were supposed to go to Nashville last weekend for our 20-year anniversary, but then all heck went loose with my, dad being in the hospital and stuff. And so I was like, well, we just don't have the time or anything like that. But my husband did surprise me because he was like, hey, I still want to take you somewhere. He was like, plan a quick trip to like Pigeon Forge. Like it's a little closer. We'll just go. I've never been there. We've never done it. So, I mean, it's kind of cheesy, but it was like, oh yeah, let's just go. Yeah. So I was like, let's just go now. Granted, he's not the planner. So it was not like he planned it. He was like, Heather, do it. But it was still the thought of, hey, I'm willing to let's go. Let's just drop everything and do it. It was really cool.
Don't talk about cheesy to me, because last weekend we drove to Greensboro to do miniature golf at this cool place I found online. So that was the only reason to go to Greensboro. So, and then we got to babysit the grandbaby on the way back. So, because they live in Danville. So
that's cool.
Maybe there was a little
extra reason.
Reason to go that way. But I just love the spontaneous trips, but also like when you're doing a big trip, you want to put the effort in and plan and make sure you know where you're going and what is the don't miss, right? Because you don't want to go to France and miss the Eiffel Tower because like you didn't plan right or something.
Right.
So, or end up in Paris, Ohio instead. That would be terrible.
Well, and honestly, and Rachel, you can probably, talk more to this. It's like people think, oh, it's going to cost so much to go international and to go overseas. But for what I'm paying to go to the beach this year, I could have gone to France easily.
I think obviously it costs money to travel, right? So there's going to be, it is what it is at some point. I always get the question of when's the best time to buy your airline tickets? When you have the money.
Right.
Like book it when you're ready, because you're going to spend so much time trying to watch the numbers go up and down. Don't do it. Like if you're ready, book them. But no, international travel, for instance, my airline ticket for this last trip was $1,200 round trip. I'm booking a trip to Arkansas for myself in August. It's costing me $750.
Right.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So international travel can actually be cheaper.
Our Visiting Angels conference last year, I went to San Diego and I flew coach, and it was $1,500 round trip. So
that's crazy.
Gravy.
So for a $1,200 trip to France is not bad. So last time, I'm originally from England. So last time we went back to England, I think our tickets were like $2,500 because of the time of year it fell and all that stuff. But so it was more expensive, but like we also did not fly coach. So it was, it can be expensive to go, but if it all depends in like your destination, things like that. It can be just the same cost as a domestic flight, and
and if you're a little bit flexible, what I do, I am a ticketing specialist, so I do trips, but I also, part of what we do is humanitarian and missions ticketing. So what I do for all of my ticketing clients is check a day or two before and after,
right?
And then I flip the cities. If it's a multi-destination, I try to flip the cities just to make sure. And sometimes it doesn't matter, and sometimes it saves a lot of money. So we do look for those things. And some of it is if you're stuck to, I have vacation these days and I have to go, at that point, it doesn't really matter. You are going to have to pay what it is.
Right.
So let's talk about the sweepstakes part of it. Tell us a little bit again, like how that kind of got started, and like how people like us can do the sweepstakes thing. I want to like win things.
So I got started into sweepstakes by my friend. She was here raising a little one, and her husband was going to Liberty, and I went to visit them to bring them a gift for, happy baby coming into the world. And she had 3 girls sitting on her apartment, like on the deck. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Why do we have 3 girls? And she said, I won them. And I said, excuse me, how can I do that? So she had been couponing, and, there's a whole craze around couponing, and she wasn't having much luck with it. And then somehow she found out about the world of sweepstakes. And and let me tell you, there's an entire world. There's a convention every year. That's why I'm going to Arkansas actually in August.
Oh.
So there's 400 people registered for the National Sweepstakes Convention. They do it yearly. I've been going for years and years. And so she got me into sweepstakes, and I've won over $600,000 in cash and prizes since I started entering. Yes.
That's awesome.
So I actually have a course. I have a complete course. It costs $199. It's the Sweepstakes Masterclass. And because as you can imagine, people find out and they ask me, and I was having coffee dates with so many people to teach them, because I'm not going to gatekeep. There's, every company has a marketing budget. Everybody does giveaways. So there's plenty to go around.
Right.
So I created a course. It's available online, the sweepstakesmasterclass.com. And, just to teach other people, because now one of my favorite things is to hear my quote unquote students tell me things that they've won.
Right.
I do have another sweepstakes business that I bought last year, and it's actually providing sweepstakes to people. And I just had somebody message me that they won $10,000 from a sweepstakes I had found. So
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's been an incredible, as you can imagine, winning 75 trips, and the things that I've won, you usually can't buy, but it's giving me experiences and connections, and
they're legit. Like, I think a lot of people think sweepstakes are not legit. I think they think they're just out there and nobody really wins. It's just, out there. So having somebody that actually is sitting here saying, yes, it is legit. You can do it.
Now, I always say, watch out for scams. If they ask for your credit card, it's not real. If they're, if you have to pay for something to receive the prize, that's not real. But there are marketing budgets from $20 to millions of dollars. Pepsi gives away hundreds of trips every year. My first NFL game was to the Super Bowl with Pepsi. So,
okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
so
amazing.
It is possible. If you see them in the grocery store, just take the second to enter. One thing that gives me a leg up on winning sweepstakes is that I read the rules. So you might enter once, you see the text to win in the grocery store. Well, I go to the rules and say, how many times can I enter?
Oh.
And it says you can enter once a day. So I put it on my list and I enter once a day. Well, of course, just logic would tell you that I have a better chance of winning than you do.
Right.
Just because I've been entering consistently.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And I saw like on something I was like a Red Bull or something. I think this morning it had like a sweepstakes thing on the side. I'm gonna have to go dig that out the trash.
Do it.
Dig it out the trash.
It's crazy. My biggest prize was a $54,000 check from Twitter. like I won on Twitter entering on Super Bowl Sunday a couple years ago. And you just had to tweet the hashtag, and I tweeted the hashtag, and the next day got a direct message saying, you are a winner, fill out this form.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's
$54,000 tweet. Like,
that's a life-changing type. That's life-changing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know I also want to chat a little bit with you. So Rachel, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, is one of our speakers this year at Empower. And I'm really grateful to Carrie, right, for connecting us.
Thank
and,
you, Carrie.
Being able to have you come and speak to all the women that we are going to have in a couple of weeks. So as I've mentioned on the show, Empower is May 16th. And if you have been listening and you've been saying, hey, I need to get my ticket, now is the time to get your ticket. Like you were talking about with the tickets for the airport. The tickets, the prices aren't going down. They are what they are. Get your ticket. Get it now before we sell out. So our theme this year is to rebrand and renew. And tell us a little bit, Rachel. Tell us what your topic is, and kind of maybe like a little small synopsis, just a little bio.
So my topic is the hot mess reset, rest, restore, and reclaim your time.
I love it. Because who doesn't need to, I know I do, just reclaim your time. You're always on the go. You're always doing this. You're always doing that. And you're not taking time for yourself.
Mm-mm.
And that really just wears you down in the long run.
I might have to actually get a ticket to Empower.
Yeah, you should. Again, I've said we don't
just crash like I did a few years ago.
You can just come join us. We're going to have Chick-fil-A. So
I got permission to just come crash.
Okay.
From Rachel.
Gotcha.
And we've been friends for a long time.
Actually,
23 minutes.
Actually, if you want to pick up our Chick-fil-A for the day and bring it in, then we'll let you come in.
I'll do that.
Because we are having Chick-fil-A for all the women. They don't have enough delivery drivers to be able to bring it to us that day, so we have to go pick it up. But the cool thing is that it does save us $4 a person by picking it up versus delivering.
I'm sure I can go pick it up.
So I'm really excited for that.
The $4 ticket covers your...
Yeah, see, there you go.
It does.
Yeah, because Megan was going to go do it. I hate for her to lose time at the conference.
Yeah, don't let her go. I'll just go do it. I love Chick-fil-A anyway. So we did a chicken. So I was talking about how I love waffles. We did a business after hours, and Chick-fil-A partnered with us to do chicken and waffles. It was my favorite night ever.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really good.
Yeah.
You're making me hungry.
Chick-fil-A chicken strips and homemade waffles.
Amazing.
I should have eaten lunch before I came.
Same.
Maybe I'll go buy the Happy Waffle when I leave here.
Well, we definitely have a really great day, I think, set for all the women. We had a meeting. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. We had a meeting yesterday with all of the speakers and just kind of learned what each person's topic was, and just got a chance to kind of chat with each other. And it's a fun group, which I'm excited for. I mentioned to them yesterday, we had a couple ladies that were like, I don't know, the past 2 years have been it's been great, but sometimes it gets a little heavy. And, I was like, okay, so I still want to have those conversations. I still want to be able to put that stuff out there, but I want it to be kind of fun and upbeat in a way too. So, I think the ladies that we have coming out are going to definitely do that. And I think any woman that attends this conference is going to leave feeling refreshed and renewed and reset. So,
and I think that I keep waiting for life to slow down. We, obviously had a hard reset back in 2020, and then coming back, I just feel like it's gotten busier and busier and busier, and things are just going faster, faster, faster. And we're going to have to be intentional about slowing down. So something like this is great because even though we probably know everything that's going to be said at this conference, right? But then you hear it, and it is oh my goodness, an incredible reminder that, okay, I knew that and implemented that 2 years ago, but then life got busy and I forgot.
Right.
And now, so great reminders and a room full of women to just encourage you and love on you. So I hope if it's May 16th, 9 to 3, come join us. It will be fun. And I think Kristen from Minnie's Travel Boutique is our headliner.
Yep. She's our keynote speaker. She's doing, her topic is mirror. Hold on, it's very similar to it's mirror.
Royal mess.
A royal mess. Yep, that's what it is.
I love it.
So,
is there a theme?
Yeah, exactly. We're all a hot mess, and we all need to get just reset this halfway through the year. Let's come to the conference, get some info, and then
eat some good food.
We're going to have some amazing, just like even snacks. So we're having Spreads by Shonda is doing like little charcuterie boxes for each woman to snack on while we're there. Nice. We've got cookies. Fields of Flour is making cookies for each.
We had their cookies last week on the podcast. Did. They're fantastic.
So she's having like a little logo cookie made for each individual that comes in. We'll have great breakfast from Sweet Indulgence Bakery and Nautical Bowls. So, your ticket, I mean, come on, guys, $99 for all of that you're getting, like as far as breakfast and lunch and just the small goodies. You're going to get a tote bag with like different giveaways at some of our sponsors and speakers are putting things in those tote bags. We'll have we're going to have like a photo booth there. So aside from coming and listening to these women give you some just fabulous advice and, wisdom and, maybe just fun time. I mean, just something fun. You are, like Rachel said, in a room with other women where there's going to be no judgment. I mean, we just want to uplift and empower each other to become, I want to say better because, we're not here to make you better. Like you are you and you're perfect as you are, but just to give you things that you maybe can use in life.
And Rachel was just talking about like her topic is about taking a step back and kind of finding the calm and all that. Like, why not take a day for yourself and invest in yourself? Like, who wouldn't invest $100 in having a great day, learning some new things and being able to hang out with a bunch of great people, right?
Yeah.
So
definitely be on the lookout. Our Facebook page, we're going to start announcing all of our speakers with their bios, their pictures, and their headshots and all the things. So, be on the lookout for that and go ahead and get your tickets. You can go on our website, cvabc.org, and go ahead and register right then and there. And then we'll be contacting you within the next week to get your lunch order from Chick-fil-A because you got a couple options there.
Chicken.
And then you also have until tomorrow, Friday at the latest, to put in your nominations for our Empower Leadership Award. So we are still accepting nominations. If you have a woman in your life that that is just inspiring, uplifting, maybe they're a great mentor, maybe they're doing a lot for the community, they're doing community service, they just kind of uphold those leadership qualities. Please submit their name to us so that we can honor them at the event. And then we, of course, give, a fabulous little plaque to our winner. But get those nominations in by Friday.
And is that on cvabc.org?
It is. It is. It's also part of our link tree. So you can go to, but that's on our website as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, thank you guys Rachel. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited. Oh yes. I'm about to cut us off here. Mike's got two questions.
I'm over here giving you sign language, like two. So we ask every guest that comes on the podcast 2 questions. One is, how long have you been part of the CVABC?
A few months.
Yeah.
I just joined.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I've met you for the first time today. So would love to see you at some events, right, Woody?
That's right.
Because Woody doesn't come to any. We're trying to get. That's me picking on him, not you.
Well, now that my travel schedule is slowed down, I would love to come join.
We will get her coordinated to book you a trip to Coffee Talk, Woody. And what is the best benefit, do you think, or the best advantage, or what have you enjoyed the most out of being a member of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
Well, it's only been a few months, so I obviously don't have much to choose from. Right. But I think the connection, I've already been connected with Carrie and, Carrie introducing me to Heather. Mm-hmm. And I think just finding out that there's more in our community that to do and to be a part of. And I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah. And I think, like Rachel said, we just met, but it's one of those, like, even when we sat down and had coffee, I left feeling so excited. Just because of some of the things that like she brings to the table, and knowing that I made this connection, even with just like Empower and being able to kind of put her out there to other women. And we've done some things with Carrie through the Lynchburg Women in Business group. And, that's a whole nother area of people that, our members can connect with too. And it's just, like you said, it's just connecting those dots, and you never know whether that next dot is going to be what you need or not. But, when you have the kind of the roads to make it happen,
I would say, going back to, I keep saying life is busy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the website makes it so easy to know how to connect with other local businesses.
Right.
So I appreciate that, because we don't have time, right? We don't have a lot of excess time to be doing things. So
yeah,
I appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to hear you speak in a couple of weeks. I'm really excited for this conference. I can't wait. So get your tickets. I'm going to say it one more time. And you can find, as Rachel said, on our website, more information about all of our upcoming events, our members that you may need services from, and again, getting your tickets to Empower at
cvabc.org. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you.